Councilman Hine.
Mr. Mayor, members of the council, good evening, and echoing everyone else, congratulations to the new members of the board. My name is Christian Hine. I'm a small business owner in Charlotte. I rise tonight in opposition not simply to the incentive package proposed for Chiquita Brands International, but to all similar incentive deals designed to manipulate the free market and treat certain companies or individuals differently from the rest of the tax-paying population. Tax neutrality is a widely recognized principle of economics that argues that tax policies should not interfere with the natural flow of capital towards its most productive use. The practice of offering preferential tax treatment to certain individuals, businesses, and organizations rather than to others tends to substitute political choices for market decisions in the allocation of resources. In fiscal year 2008-2009 alone, the North Carolina General Assembly's appropriations for economic development in the form of tax credits and direct payments totaled over $1.2 billion, with another $172 million coming from the Golden Leaf Foundation. This figure does not include local expenditures that were on top of that. In reality, even $1 billion a year in tax incentives and corporate welfare can't compensate for high marginal tax rates, inadequate infrastructure, mediocre schools, and a punitive regulatory system. Elected officials love to attract attention to themselves through job announcements and ribbon cuttings that these incentives provide. But these are really poor substitutes for the less glamorous policies that actually do promote free markets and entrepreneurship and an overall economic growth. Indeed, if we had a more favorable business climate to begin with, such targeted investments wouldn't be necessary at all, since we would all enjoy the benefits of a more thriving economy, not simply a chosen few. As it is now, these grants tend to leave no winners other than the companies that can wring concessions from state and local governments, and ultimately the taxpayers. Now, it's typical in this discussion of incentives to hear the phrase, well, if we don't offer them, someone else will. But in my opinion, bad behavior is never justified, and encouraging bad behavior will only encourage more of it to continue. If cities continue to fight with each other over incentives, the companies requesting them will only continue to ask for more and more. At what point does it end? At what point have we simply given up the taxpayer and the community to corporate and business interests working to milk the taxpayers for all they have? I ask you to be leaders. Now is the time to stand up and say no. Across the country, you always hear, well, we don't like incentives, but everyone else is doing it. This is an opportunity for Charlotte to truly be a leader in this country, to be the first to stand up and say no. And who knows, maybe the taxpayers across this land might benefit as a result. Thank you.